I lost my life in space to save the life of my friend. My name is Vladimir Komarov, 40 years old, and I am the first person to have completed 2 space flights. I am also the first person to have died in space. I knew this before my departure, but I had no other choice. If I were to refuse the mission, my friend Yuri Gagarin would take my place, and I didn't want him to risk his life for a faulty spacecraft, as Spaceship One had issues. I knew it, the engineers knew it, the politicians knew it, but no one dared to speak up aloud for fear of angering the government. The mission had to be carried out quickly to beat the Americans, and I accepted the mission hoping that the problems would be resolved before launch, but unfortunately, they weren't. The spacecraft was filled with errors, incorrectly connected cables, and ill-fitting parts. Despite ground tests, the parachute didn't open properly, but I was assured that everything would be fine. On the day of the launch, I entered the capsule with a sense of doom. I said goodbye to my wife and child over the phone. I recorded a message for them in case I didn't return. I shook hands with Gagarin, who was my backup. He wished me good luck, and I replied, "See you soon, Yuri." The rocket took off without any issues. I found myself in orbit around the Earth, but within the first few minutes, I realized something was wrong. The spacecraft didn't respond correctly to the controls. It spun for no reason. The solar panels didn't deploy properly, and the batteries drained quickly. I tried to stay calm and report the irregularities to the control center, but communication was poor. I could only hear half sentences, sometimes nothing at all. I spent a whole day in this hell. I was alone, isolated, and helpless. I knew I had no chance of returning alive, but I didn't give up. I did everything I could to stabilize the ship and prepare for re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. When the time was right, I ignited the retro rockets to leave orbit. The spacecraft began its descent toward Earth. I felt the heat and vibrations increase. I prayed for the parachute to open, but it didn't. The spacecraft continued its free fall toward Earth. I screamed in anger and despair, berating those who had sent me into this death trap. I thought of my family and friends, then I heard a dull thud, and then nothing.
I lived 122 years, long enough to witness the deaths of my husband, daughter, and grandson. I am Jeanne Calment, born on February 21, 1875, in Alls. I lived an exceptionally long life, as I reached the age of 122 years and 164 days, making me the longest-lived person in recorded history. Throughout my life, I witnessed many historical events such as the construction of the Eiffel Tower, the 2 World Wars, and the first steps of man on the moon. I also met Vincent van Gogh when I was a teenager. I led a peaceful life in Alls, running my haberdashery shop with my husband, Jeanne Calment. We had one daughter, Yvonne, who gave us a grandson, Frederick. I lived long enough to witness the deaths of my husband, daughter, and grandson. My longevity was attributed to a combination of genetic factors and a healthy lifestyle. I particularly enjoyed chocolate, olive oil, and a little red wine each day. I smoked occasionally but quit at the age of 117. I achieved worldwide fame as the oldest living person and passed away on August 4, 1997. My longevity record remains unmatched to this day.